This is Taya Graham reporting for the Real News Network in Annapolis, Maryland. Baltimore is experiencing a slight dip in homicides, some say due to community-based programs like Safe Streets. But a Republican governor is preparing to block funding during a critical time. Since the beginning of Maryland's annual legislative session, Republican Governor Larry Hogan has made it clear that policing and prisons are a top priority.
This year, let's crack down on those violent criminals who use guns to commit crimes by passing tougher minimum sentences.
And like the similar crackdown touted by the Trump administration, their argument is built around fear.
This is the part where we're seeing 353 homicides in Baltimore City. We're seeing homicides all across this state.
In fact, Baltimore recently was deemed the most dangerous city in America by USA Today. But amid all the histrionics, another voice has emerged.
It's a good first initial step at looking at criminal justice from a different vantage point.
Activists who say more policing is not the answer and believe community-based models are more effective.
People deciding that they can just solve their problems in a mediation type of way.
In part, they point to a recent drop in homicides in the city even the mayor attributes to community-based efforts.
But also coupled with that was, ceasefire, a lot of community engagement, and I think he would say the same thing. It really is all of us.
Which is why supporters of a program called Safe Streets were in Annapolis today to support a bill that would increase funding and expand the program.
We hire credible messengers to work in the neighborhood, and they come from this neighborhood.
Arguing that the model for curing violence that relies upon mediation, not prison, is the most effective way to combat violence. Delegate Talmud Branch, whose grandson was murdered last year, made an emotional plea for funding 10 new branches for $3 million per year.
Any governor, any mayor, any county exec, any leader would want to, knowing that your city is rated number one in the country, why you would want to oppose a bill.
So did Safe Streets worker Corey Winfield, who described a successful mediation that may have prevented a murder.
I takes him to the side and I asked him, I said, man, a cell phone? You gonna kill somebody about a cell phone? You gonna lose your life about a cell phone? Over the friends' lives? He said, man, it's the principle. I said, you know what, you're right. And I agree with that 100%. It's the principle. I said, what? Let me ask you this though. I said, your daughter about what, a year, 18 months old? So he said, man, yeah. I said, you right. I said, now listen, when she going to the senior prom and you call home from prison and she tells you, Dad, I look so pretty, I wish you could be here. I want you to tell her the same BS you just told me. I wish I was, but it's the principle.
But Branch says despite widespread support, Maryland's Get Tough governor doesn't support the bill.
The administration has said they oppose this bill?
Yeah, I received they all often offer letters of whether you support or don't support, and the Department of Budget and Management sent a letter opposing the bill, saying that it would be placing a mandate on the budget. But right now, I think, given the fact that we have been identified by USA Today as the worst city in the country, that we should be putting lives before the budget at this point.
In a different hearing room, there was another front in the same battle for alternative paths to public safety. There, Delegate Bilal Ali was proposing a law to charge officers with a felony for intentionally turning off body cameras.
But for those officers who do or choose or elect to do something that's related to altering material evidence, then it should be a higher consequence. It shouldn't be a misdemeanor where you're suspended with pay.
A proposal the city's police union president, Gene Ryan, opposes.
You're giving stiffer penalties to police officers than you are criminals. I mean, 10 years, $100,000 fine, that's ridiculous.
But Ali says his idea is part of a broader plan to lessen the emphasis on policing.
And we have to understand that if we're going to have a democracy, or we're going to have a government that's responsive to the people that they're supposed to serve, then this information should be forthcoming.
Still, Davon Love of the activist group Leaders of a Beautiful Struggle says the faster the political establishment recognizes the power of community intervention and real community-based solutions like Safe Streets, the sooner cities like Baltimore can heal.
The evidence is so definitive that community-based programs work to address violence that it doesn't surprise me that support for things like Safe Streets and the ceasefire are things that is becoming more popular because it works.
This is Taya Graham and Stephen Janis reporting for the Real News Network in Annapolis, Maryland.